Yeah. What up, nation? Welcome to another edition of the Wise Take NFL DFS Wise stream. CK013 here. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013. Joined by the GOAT, the true OG, known to y'all as Paulie D. And this time we are talking about the Thursday night football showdown slate between the Patriots and the Rams. Paulie, what's happening?
What up, man? Long time.
Yeah. Feels like it. In all seriousness, we're talking about like totally different sports. Like, it's like we haven't spoke because we haven't spoken once about football.
Yeah.
It was all NBA, so it was like, we haven't actually spoke about football. So it's just like kind of like we haven't spoke. But hey, listen, I'll take it. We got NBA preseason starting up tomorrow. For those of you who don't know, we just did an NBA stream earlier today for tomorrow's slate. We will have day passes available at wisetick.com. If you want to pop in there, grab a day pass. Paulie D is going to have his debut, his fast break sheet. We'll have more content for the regular season, but get in on some preseason if you're impatient. Season pass is included in the season pass if you're into that. But we got day passes, $2.50. Go check it out. And then also tomorrow night will be the NFL Wise stream. Myself, Patio Joe, Paulie D for Week 14. Hit the like button if you haven't already. It really helps us out. Allows us to continue to do what we do. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new. We do all types of free DFS content right here on the YouTube. And make sure to go check us out at wisetape.com if you're looking to improve your game and take it a step further with the Wise Take Nation. Okay, so Thursday Night Football, it's a Super Bowl rematch, right? I mean, a little different. Things look a little bit different, right? There's no Tom Brady. What else? Super Bowl rematch from what was it, 2 years ago?
Three.
It was 3 years ago. 3 years ago. Okay. So yeah, both teams look really different, right? But the Rams still have a few guys that were there. They got that taste, right? McVay was there, I believe. Goffington was there. Robert Woods was a part of that team. I think Kupp was hurt, and then you had what's his name? Brandon Cooks was there at the time, who's not there. So this is a totally different situation. I think these teams played differently than how they played then. One thing about McVay that's interesting is he's always said, like they call him like a copycat in like a good way. Like when he loses to a good coach, he will study and find out what that coach did and literally try to use it on the use it going forward and incorporate it into his own game plan. He takes plays, all that kind of shit, which is smart. He's a young coach. That being said, Paulie, what do you think the overall flow of this game is?
Man, this is a tough one. I think like the consensus, and I have no clue. I haven't done any like public research. I don't know what the chalk is. I don't know what people are betting on. I analyzed the slate mostly last night, but I would think the public is on the Patriots and the under. And in my opinion, I think this game shoots out. I think the Rams are playing really fast, and the pass game is really working. I think the Patriots defense is really not that good, although they have definitely been better lately as they've gotten healthier. Getting
Gilmore.
What's the corner's name?
Gilmore
back. You saw that their pass defense has improved. I just think that the Rams are going to be able to move the ball on their defense, that McVay is definitely going to have revenge in mind losing the Super Bowl there. And I think that Cam Newton and the somewhat getting healthier Patriots will keep pace trailing from behind because they desperately need to win this game. So I think we see a shootout, very high scoring. I like a lot of the skill players here today.
I definitely see that being a scenario. My only concern is both of these teams try to run, and that really makes things fucked up because even when you look at the running game, like that's like the least attractive when in terms of like building a team. Like we don't play very many Rams running backs in regular season because there's 3 of them. Like you get an idea of which one's in the lead now. But that messes things up, and the same thing with the running backs on New England. It's a little easier to play a running back from New England, except for the fact that Cam is also going to take 14, 15 carries most likely, and is going to take away some of those goal line carries. But it almost like that's the running backs is the way that this game doesn't shoot out. If both teams are running the ball And like that's the way it goes under. If it goes over, it's obviously the pass game. I agree. If it doesn't get there, it's gonna be because both teams are trying to run the ball a ton, and maybe neither of them are all
So,
that successful with it, and then eventually one team kind of breaks away.
yeah, or moderately, but the pace just is that slow. But I think the Rams wanting to run is really like overblown in DFS. I think McVay is a strategy kind of guy, and like he could come out with a pass heavy game plan or a run heavy. It depends on the opponent. But like you look at their game logs, you can see Goff throw 60 times, multiple times. Some of those games they led, some of those games they trailed. Like I don't think the Rams are necessarily a run first team, but the Patriots definitely are. And if the Patriots get ahead, it won't shoot out. But the Rams do, I think it will.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. I will say this now before we start really getting into the game itself. I will say this. I found it like strange. Like, have you seen Goff's home and road splits this year? Like the scores he's averaging. It's kind of crazy.
I haven't, but the fact he said it's crazy makes me think he's better on the road.
He's averaging double the amount, literally over double the amount of fantasy points on the road than he is at home. He's averaging 12.1 at home and 24.6 on the road. So that's just like, I don't know. Some of that is probably matchup based. I'm sure if we actually dug in, I know he has played teams like Washington. He's played teams like, he played them on the road and destroyed them. The Bears, I know he played at some point. 49ers obviously, but it was just really weird. Like I went in there expecting to see the opposite. Like I was like, oh, Goff's at home, I'm probably gonna see that he lights it up. And mind you, I'm not. I know I'm just playing like the devil's advocate. I have Jared Goff on I think 2 out of 3 teams currently, so I'm in on the passing game. But just a couple things I saw that I thought were like, well, maybe I don't want to put him in the captain, or maybe there is or at least not that heavy. Maybe I want to be mindful that this game could go another way. Just there was just something like that. It's just like what? This don't make a ton of sense. All right, Paulie, we're getting into it now. We've got a 43.5 total. That's down from 45.5. The Rams opened up a 6-point favorite, so down to -4.5. Depending on where you look, most places I've checked, it's kind of split, like 52% towards the Rams, but that's pretty split. That's not like a super heavy, public heavy favorite. Same thing with the under. It's mostly split, but definitely shaded towards the under from what I've seen. And I checked a couple different places. We'll start off with the Patriots side, Paulie. What do you like from the Patriots side?
Not much. You pretty much have to play Cam Newton. I just don't see a scenario where he's not a part of their success today. It's there's just not many other guys that can do it and that he's not a part of, or that he doesn't do himself. And then, I like James White because, they got the 3-headed thing now in the backfield. And if it's them doing it on the ground, then you don't know who's going to do it, but it's probably not White. But if they are trailing, it's fairly likely that White has like ceiling potential in the pass game, right? And then their receivers are all kind of blah to me. I think the cheap guys are the most interesting because it's showdown. Damier Bird for $800. Gunnar Ozlowski, who scored twice last week and seems to be kind of growing in the game plan. They try to get him the ball in space. He's fast, shifty, kind of little burner. And then, Jacoby Myers, to me, is their clear number one, but, the numbers haven't really showed that the last week or two. Since N'Keal Harry's come back. I'm not really interested in N'Keal Harry, but he's cheap as shit, and, he does have, like, a touchdown upside. So, at their prices, they're all firmly in play as, like, complements to any lineup because of that cheapness. The tight end situation, what's the dude's name that got ruled out?
Izzo, yeah.
Izzo got ruled out. So they really got like no one that has any on-field experience this year, but Devin Asiasi is the guy they drafted in the 2nd round that was supposed to be like Gronk's replacement. And then the dude Keene is the guy they took in the 3rd round. We don't know how much they're going to play, if at all, but I expect them to get some run, and they're also incredibly cheap. So I'd be all right with those guys too. But it pretty much all starts with Cam, and as long as Nick Folk is ruled in, he's questionable, I believe. Like I like their kicker, and whichever receiver you want to pair with, and James White. That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I definitely think that the Cam Newton, like you said, I just don't see a scenario where he's not in the winning team. I have him in every team, and it's funny because I like the Rams offense better in general, right? I like more Rams players. But Cam Newton is like almost the whole offense, so you're just getting a lot from one player. So we expect him to run. He ran for double-digit rushing attempts last game. I think we'll do the same here, especially because I think he's going to be under pressure, at least at times. The receiving pairings, I'm not that concerned with. I mean, I do like. I don't mind doing a Jacoby Myers. I think he might even be lower owned because people may elect to go with the quarterback high-low, just get the cheap receivers and get Woods and Cup. So he can kind of go lost in the shuffle. He plays out of the slot a lot, which is we know where Edelman typically plays. But Jalen Ramsey will go in there. So it depends on. I don't think he's gonna like start off in there because I don't know if this guy's demanding that type of attention from a guy like him. But if in the event he's doing well, I would expect they may do some switch action if they could. But pick a cheap one if you want. Play Cam by himself. I'm fine. You can even play Cam with the running back if the Patriots do well.
Yeah.
Right. There's a world where James White is the obvious pairing for pass game, but even in a running script, you could play him and Damian Harris together. I think Sonny Michel mostly got that run because it was garbage time, like towards the end of the game. I do think, because even though Michel got some work at the end there, Harris already had his work in. He already rushed for like double-digit carries and all that, and the game got out of hand pretty much from the start. So. I do like Damian Harris. I'll play him with Cam. I have no problem. I'm not looking for correlation. It's just about raw points. I think those two could be the highest raw point scorers on the Patriots. They don't have a tight end. So, again, just going to emphasize we're going to tighten up on what we have to work with. I mean, they have a tight end, but nobody that's actually playing. Izzo was playing a ton, but he was pretty much just blocking. So, we'll have to see what they do. Any interest at all in the Patriot defense, Paulie?
No, not at all.
Let's go over to the Rams side. What do you like on the Rams?
So I love the passing game. I think that's really what the Rams coach what his DNA is. I think that they had Gurley and they had success on the ground, and he likes to really open up the pass game with the play action. So you do need to establish the run to do that. But I think, his strategy is mostly through the air, and their team is really designed that way. Like the short to intermediate passing game, their receivers, by far dominate the league in yards after the catch. It's it's like a updated Bill Walsh's offense essentially, and I think they have a ton of success. I really think New England has like hit the nuts in terms of like running into teams with like issues. Like Arizona's quarterback is hurt, and they got the Ravens with like injuries and COVID and all that crap going on, and like dissension. But they're just not that good. They don't have that much talent, and the Rams are good. Like their defense has just improved more and more as the season's progressed, and they've got some straight thugs on that defense. And I don't see the Rams losing this game, and I think they play from ahead. I think they get there from the pass game, and then however the Patriots can kind of keep pace will dictate how high scoring this goes. But give me a receiver, Woods or Cup, as like your primaries, your captains. Last week, Jefferson actually outsnapped Reynolds, which kind of caught me by surprise because I really was impressed with what Reynolds was doing. But they did draft this guy Jefferson in like the third round, and he's done well with his opportunities. I don't think I would captain a Jefferson or a Reynolds, but I'm cool with exposure to them. But for the most part, it's Woods, Cup with Goff. The tight end thing is super annoying. I lean Gerald Everett. I just think he's a little bit more athletic. Like that he's cheaper. But Higbee seems to have more of a nose for the end zone. And I do like the Rams defense. Probably will cap their exposure at like 40% because I think if they do really well, then the builds that I'm going to have aren't, so it's like more like kind of like differentiation builds where I do play some Rams running backs and kind of get different because I am building a shit ton of teams today. But in the run game, Cam Akers clearly took that role, and I don't see why they would reduce that. I think he would need to fumble or struggle for them to like pivot. But those guys are going to kind of eat at his touches, similar to the Patriots, where it's kind of just annoying to play any of them. But they're the guys that also will differentiate you. Like last week, Henderson had I think it was like 3 carries, but he broke one and got to the end zone. And on a showdown that, we're looking for really raw points. And they're all, not all, but Akers and Henderson, I think, are in play. And Malcolm Brown's not in play, just not as exciting to play. But the pass game is really what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I do have Akers on one team, but I've got Goff on 2 of them. Just looking for that upside, looking for that ceiling. Because like I said, I think in a running script game, while I think it's possible this game goes under and these teams play slower because they're just running. Not that they're playing slower, but the clock is just running more. In that scenario, I don't see a ton of ceiling. So I lean towards Goff. The question of the day, and Tony A in the chat, I'm sorry, C Moss in the chat. Tony A's in there too, but C Moss in the chat asked the question of the night: who's the guy tonight, Kupp or Woods?
I would say it's Kupp. He does run more routes out of the slot than Woods, and I don't think Malcolm, what's his cock, will follow him there. So give me the Kupps there. And the tertiary guys like Van Jefferson and Reynolds. But, they'll all kind of get their touches. Robert Woods been getting carries. I think he's going to pull up and throw one of these times soon. And I like them all. But if I had to pick like which one, I was building one team for a captain, it'd be Kupp.
Yeah, I lean a little towards Kupp as well. But to be honest, I have them kind of evenly. There's one team I was able to fit them both together with Goff, and then I have one on each other squad at the moment. And the reason I lean Kupp is at least because when they did play in the Super Bowl, the Patriots were able to kind of manage Woods. It was really Kupp didn't even play, but it was really Brandon Cooks who kind of went nuts on him in a game where their offense only scored 3 points. He still had over 100 and something yards receiving, which would, in my opinion, be the Reynolds Jefferson role. So for that reason, they didn't have Kupp. Like I said, that could be a difference maker in a situation like this. So I do lean towards Kupp, but I do like Woods as well. I was too afraid to leave him out. Double-digit targets his last 3 games is kind of tough. Van Jefferson has not outsnapped Reynolds all year until last week. He officially outsnapped him, and so I think he's going to be the one going forward. You had mentioned he's a rookie, that they drafted him for a reason. Supposedly they like the guy. So that gets me off Reynolds a little bit, though I do recognize that I think a lot of people will bail on Reynolds. I think people are going to get scared off and bail. But, I mean, you're $2,600 for a guy that I know we only saw it 1 week, but in the assumption that he is going to at least get those opportunities again, I'm willing to take a shot. And I think I do think he's obviously got some talent. And then the tight ends, man, like you said, man, I got one of each because I just couldn't make up my damn mind. Everett does more for you. He's cheaper, but I did backdoor my way into a Higbee team. It was just the last guy in. But if it's preference, I prefer Everett as well on the cheap. Like that. Any interest in the Rams defense?
Yes, I do like them quite a bit. Kind of like hedge teams where the Rams D dominates the Patriots. The Patriots can't do nothing, and the Rams kind of result to the run game. So it's like Rams D with the running game, and maybe just a receiver without Goff, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I can see that scenario, more upside there. You know what's interesting? I'll say this. I know, I don't have any Patriot defense teams, but I will say this. I wonder how not having a kicker I mean, they can go one of two ways. Either they're going to have to just go for everything and it raises the upside of the Rams, which it raises the upside, right? Because it doesn't mean they're going to hit that upside, but it does raise the potential for it if they're nervous about their kicker, which I'm still waiting for. On the flip side, if they go for it more and they don't get it, theoretically that should give the Patriots better field position at certain times, right? So I guess two ways to look at it, but I'm definitely curious to hear the news on this guy. Maybe I'll do a quick Twitter thing. Give me your top 3 captains while I try to look and see if that news has come out yet.
Cup.
Oh, he is active. Matt Gay is active. The kicker's active. So remember, this is the backup kicker because the real kicker is Forbath, who's on IR. But anyway, continue. 3 captains.
Okay. And Gay's in the player pool, right?
Yes.
Okay. So give me Cup. Give me Cam. And give me Jesus. Give me I'll take Josh Reynolds.
Boom. I like it. I'm going Cam Newton number 1. I'm going I'll go Cam Newton number 1. I'll go Cooper Kupp number 2, and I'll go Damian Harris number 3. A little contrarian action. I think that'll be contrarian. That'll be contrarian, right? Because people are either playing a Ram or they're playing fucking Cam, right? Like that's like the chalk, I would think. All right, I'll let you, boy. We'll do some questions real quick, then we'll get up out of here. Kyle asked who to play for captain. We just did it, Kyle. Shout out to you. Our boy Moochie has a question: Higbee or Harry on FanDuel? They're both 8K.
Harry.
I'll go Harry. His first game back. I think he'll be lower owned than Higbee. 8K. Imagine that. Moochie, anyone like Sony Michel? Thoughts on Sony Michel?
No. Most of his run came in mop-up time last week. Like, I think he's clearly the number 2. He will get some run, but he's only like a last piece into a lineup to get contrarian.
I agree. There's always that potential that the running backs get him down there, but they're gassed, and so they bring in Sony Michel to seal the deal. Always the potential this game gets out of hand, and they bring in Sony Michel and he breaks one. But Damian Harris seems to have a pretty good stranglehold with Burkhead out right now of those reps, and then James White we already know is the pass game guy. So, well, agreed. Which kicker do you like more from Moochie?
The Patriots kicker, because I see them getting stalled out more, where I think the Rams will score more touchdowns.
Yeah, and Nick Folk is that's a folk hero. Not that he's the greatest kicker anymore, but he's a seasoned vet, man. He's a kicker. This other guy, Matt Gay, is, again, I get nervous with replacement kickers. He's here to replace. I'm assuming Folk is in, but I think the Q tag dropped, so I think he is active. Yeah, he is. Folk hero ain't missing this game. Let me see. Wig, shout out to Wig. Think Pat's target Cup, trying to remove the Rams' biggest receiver?
No. I don't I don't know if they would distinguish like that, Cup their biggest receiver, I don't know if Bill Belichick does that every single game the way we like to just create these trends, but I think they will try to rush the passer as much as possible and create trouble for Goff. Because Goff, what I do know about Goff splits are when he's under pressure, his quarterback rating goes way the fuck down. So I think that they will treat Goff as their best player.
I could definitely see that. And either way, with Cup out of the slot and Stephon Gilmore, maybe they go more man with Stephon Gilmore on Woods one-on-one, and then they use the rest of the defense to try to stop Cup, which is maybe why a situation like that could lead to a Reynolds or the other guy, or even a tight end to get a little bit of love there. Moochie, last question and we're out of here. Cam Akers or Darrell Henderson? Any love for Malcolm Brown? I guess Rams running back.
Akers by a mile. Akers 70% exposure. Henderson 20. The other guy 20.
Agreed. That's going to do it, Nation. Appreciate y'all for hanging out with us. Please hit the like button. We'll be back at it tomorrow night, as I mentioned, for NFL Week 14 Y stream. Myself, Paulie D, Patio Joe, 3 amigos, 3 OGs, whatever you want to call it. And then, of course, the NBA preseason slate starts Friday, so make sure your day passes will be available by the morning. Go ahead and grab it and, get yourself a piece of the Paulie D's debuting NBA Fast Break sheet, which we'll be doing again for the regular season. Regular season, we'll have all the content. We'll have everything else, the projections, cheat sheets for preseason. It's you got to really grind for the info. So we're just gonna have the sheet, but you can get in early, get some preseason action, and get a chance to try out the Nation for $2.50. Go check it out on Friday. For Paulie D, for myself, the entire White Seg Nation. As always, good luck.
Yeah.